What's up, everybody? It's your favorite overproduced character's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Magic Square Optimus Prime Masterpiece Scale 2.0. Light of Freedom, or Spark of Freedom, or something along those lines. This is their second attempt in less than 5 years, which would lead me to believe a number of business things regarding them. But that's not the basis of today's conversation. The basis of today's conversation is, in fact, this Prime that was sent to me by Josh K, which I am excited to take a look at due to some of the rumors and sort of hype surrounding him. However, of course, in order to do so, we have to start with accessories. So he, of course, comes with his rifle. It's all black. It's sculpted arguably perfectly. I think it's done quite well for what it is. It pegs into his palm in typical Masterpiece fashion, and then you just wrap the fingers around it. And of course, he comes with that thing from that episode that people mistakenly thought, I think, is a bad idea for an accessory. Of course, it's not. It's an iconic thing for an accessory. It's just that everybody does it, so it's a little less exciting. But this isn't one of my favorites. I don't think the color is quite right. It is a translucent orangish yellow. It does come apart in two pieces. The reason why. To utilize it, you slide this stem here underneath the four fingers, Frankie Four Fingers, and then you put the cap on to send it home. And I'm having a little bit of a trouble getting it quite here, but you'll see it in the final thoughts. He comes with two different like trailer hitch offerings. They connect to different trailers, I would imagine. On the back, they have the two tabs. They both work the same way, which is to say they plug in back here to the back of the truck. Gimmicks-wise, of course, he does have a matrix chamber. You can lift that up. There's the matrix that's inside. You can pop it out. It has the metallic blue, but it doesn't have the proper coloring, which is a little weird. Not the biggest deal in the world, I guess, but it's like, doesn't seem like a very difficult thing to get, right. And they didn't, so that's weird. And let's take a look at the figure. So the head sculpt, very cartoony, and as a result, I think does the figure an injustice because it has a tendency to look a little childish to me. I'm not crazy about the head sculpt. They've had a problem with head sculpts in the past, and in my opinion, this one is no different. Then we have the eyes that are painted metallic blue. Actually, they may not even be, no, they're not metallic. It's just a light blue. And then the crest that is painted gray. And I think, I can't really tell on this guy what is painted and what isn't. As we move through, maybe I'll be able to get a better idea. But they have tricked me in the past with like dusting figures and stuff. But I don't think a lot of this is actually painted, to be honest. But either way, it doesn't look it. So even if it is painted, it wouldn't have been my preference. That being said, his head is on a hinge swivel. So you can get up actually to a crazy amount. And actually, it may not even be. No, it's a double ball peg. So, sorry about that. I think it's a double ball peg. You get all the way up. You get a little bit down. Swivel. Confused Prime face. I think it works pretty well, articulation-wise. Moving on to the arm. We have the smokestacks. And you can extend these if you like. Or collapse them, whatever you prefer. You have this joint here, which is a universal. It has the joint in the chest. You can get it up to 90 degrees. You can get 360 around. You can get a butterfly joint. Not the craziest range, but it is there. And even maybe a little reverse, slightly, ever so slightly. Chrome deco on the smokestacks, which I do think looks good. There's also an additional hinge at the shoulder, so you can get the arm, almost all the way up, which is nice, and you can kind of display it out to the side and such, which works as well. So, oh, and then look at that butterfly joint, comes all the way across. It must have just been stuck. It's pretty cool. Bicep swivel, a little tight, but it's there. Double jointed elbow that gets you the full run, which is impressive. Wrist swivel. The wrist also hinges outward. Fingers independently articulated on a base pin knuckle and secondary knuckle, which is nice. No typewriter fingers as a result. Then we have the thumb, which is on a base ball peg and a secondary and tertiary knuckle. Is that right? No, just a secondary knuckle. So that works as well. All right. Let's lower the camera a taste. We'll talk about this torso here. The gray I don't think that's painted either, but it may be. Chrome there with the blue translucent windows that work fine. And we have the, I think they're parking lights or marker lights. And then we have a waist swivel. We have an ab crunch that gets you all the way over. And we have a reverse ab crunch that does definitely break the sculpt up to Kingdom Come, but it is there if for some reason you could cheat it for a picture or something. Any teapot? No. But you should be able to get everything that you really want out of that. All right. Hip skirts. Oh, yeah. Okay, so you have these two side ones, and you have these back ones that'll get up and out of the way a bit. I'm being careful here. So that's not the best. Now, these front ones are here, but where the universal joint connects, it connects into the piece that rotates it. Now, the cool thing about that is as you go to rotate the universal up, the hip skirt will automatically come with it, and it gets you a hell of a range up and back. The bad thing is, as you go to bring that back down, due to the tension, you're not guaranteed to get the hip skirt with it. And it's not necessarily the most easy to get to, so you might have to rotate the hip all the way back, get it into position, and then rotate the hip back down. Once again, it will obviously work, it's just not the most user-friendly thing in the world. All right, then we have full Van Damme, right? Thigh swivel built around the universal, that's perfect. Some nice sculpt work, the white does look good. That may be painted, I can't tell. And then we have some nice sculpt work in there as well. Let's back out so we can see the whole figure a little bit. Double jointed knee. Now, this is a weird joint too. So the top joint is a ratchet, but it feels inconsistent, a hard ratchet. The bottom joint is a soft ratchet. You do get the whole run, but it is strange. It's just a strange joint. You'll feel it in hand when you get it, if you get it. Chrome fuel tanks, I like those. Kind of your standard status quo sculpt work for the leg. Ankles, with a number of things going on. It's a ball peg, which gets you a hell of a rocker, so no issues there. You get a toe tilt up and a slight ankle tilt up, and you get a toe tilt down, no real ankle tilt down. Same for the other side. And there he is from the back. There you have it. Size comparison wise, there he is with a handful of Autobots of different sizes. Your Voyager Deluxe and Legends of Masterpiece, if you will. And hopefully that gives you an idea. I mean, I think he'll fit in perfectly, you know, no problems whatsoever. You know, size wise, he's going to integrate into your collection without the slightest of issue. And there he is with the original Magic Square Prime. And I mean, I do like the white pants, so to speak. But aside from that, man, like I like the head sculpt so much better on the original. I like a lot of the sculpt work so much better on the original. I like the bulkiness so much better on the original. If you guys would want to see a versus of this, I'd be willing to do it. I'm not sure how relevant it actually is, but just let me know in the comments. I just think the original has a lot more life in it. But subjective, right? Totally subjective, so it's up to you. Let's get into this transformation and see what that's all about. All right, let's get him transformed. And, you know, this is kind of largely like doing the reverse thing that they did initially where they put out the MP and then put out the Legend. This is kind of like they put out the Legend first and then they put out the MP. But we'll go ahead and go through it regardless. Give yourself some room here. You want to open up this. You can spin these. Oh, no, you can't. Not yet. You want to pull these pieces. Actually, you can get the backpack open. Just get that out of the way. Lower these gray pieces. And you want to pull this center grill out. And then spin around that section to form the bumper. And then spin that around once more. And with these down, you want to fold this to the side, fold the window up, and then fold the window out. And we're going to do that on this side as well. Down, out, up, and then we're going to rotate that. Don't be afraid to give yourself as much space as you can. And then we can spin this. They'll collapse in. Collapse in. And this will spin up. And we're just sort of kind of getting things in their general right place. Because it all kind of comes together here shortly. But that's kind of the front section loosely done. Before we move on, I did forget something. You can just open this up. This piece here does collapse. And then you can close this up. All right, moving on to the arms. The arms have to rotate towards the back. You need to open up the forearm. There's a panel here that will flip open. Then you can flip or rotate this back on a double hinge and flip that piece out. You want to rotate the hand in, and I think like this. All right, then you want to rotate at the bicep towards the inside of the joint, and then at the forearm back towards, or no, back towards the inside of the joint, I think. So that when you have it all lined up, you have the hand that sits underneath this piece and all of this, and there's a little slot there that a tab will tab into. Once you get it all kind of properly aligned, which that is pretty close but not quite there. We'll go ahead and flip the head in as well as we go to move around. Same deal. So open up this flap on the side of the forearm, rotate it to the back of the elbow, flip that one little flap out, rotate the hand in. As you move this butterfly joint to the back, you want the top elbow joint to be facing forward, and let's see here. And the fist up. It's hard to explain where these joints are, but just try to get it so that these all align properly. Open up this window here, and once again, we're gonna try to get this in there, so to speak, and get it all lined up. Now you want to take this section, bring it up and over and down, and you want to try to line this all up. And as you do so, you're going to want to push in the grill, but you want all this to be kind of as tightly, you know, lined up as possible, so that there's like little tabs that everything kind of like fits into. And I don't have it quite right, but you get the idea. Then we'll take this piece here, open that up. There's two pieces here that fold in towards the middle. Rotate this piece around. This piece comes back down, and these two tabs here slide into those two grooves. And this piece folds forward. The last thing that we have to do regarding the cab is take the whole rear end of this thing, rotate that around, and then these two will slide in between the blue. And then we can move on to the legs. Flip your fuel tanks around on both sides, and you need to open up, where is it? This piece here. Get all of this up and out of the way. There's another piece over on this side. You got to make sure that you're free. Little piece in, big piece in. and tab together. Spin them 180. The heel flattens out so it squares off the box, and the toe flips all the way around, and the guard, tight little joint, flips up. Then you have this whole section here. So you can separate this. This piece slides out, revealing the faux or a real fuel tank, depending on how you see it. There's two pieces here that fold out. You have to bend plastic around plastic to make this work. And this comes down. This combiner wars up, grabs a hold of the fuel tank, pegs in, and this flap collapses back down. So same thing on this side. Flap 1, flap 2. Up we go, little flap in, big flap in. Spin the foot around 180, make the heel the underside of the box, flip the toe all the way around, free this piece up, which once again is giving me hell. Okay, there we go. And there that is. Release this section down below so you can combiner wars it. Pull your tires out, revealing the faux fuel tank. Then you have to spin this around this, which doesn't have 100% clearance. Neither did the Legend, if memory serves. Collapse this back down. Collapse that in. Collapse that down. And then these legs interlock. I will clean it up and we'll take a look at it. And there it is. It rolls. Mine, like pieces that hold the tires, tends to like push in as I manipulate it. You just got to pull it back out. Not the biggest deal in the world. I like the chrome accents on the wheels, as well as obviously I've already said on this smokestacks and stuff, as well as the side mirrors here. We have the lights and stuff there at the back, which is painted well enough. You know, very basic. You know, but it's that was the goal, right? To try to make a very basic, you know, G1 style Optimus Prime. I think it's relatively successful. The doors can open, you know, to reveal nothing, but they can open. I'm guessing the smokestacks pull up. I didn't show that, but they can, you know. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It does its job. There it is next to Tiger Track, so it's on brand. It's just a lot of this stuff is just starting to look really simple to me, in a way that I don't necessarily find appealing, but that's a subjective thing. So it could be very much for you. Let's do some final thoughts. Final thoughts wise, let's start with the negatives. Look, there's a deco lacklusterness to this figure. The red looks very plain to a point where I do think it looks cheap. I think the blue looks plain as well. I think the head sculpt looks less. A lot of this looks childish, but it's because they're trying to match a very childish looking animation cell. Once again, tracing the same lines that so many are chasing after. And as a result, losing any sense of individuality, uniqueness. As far as the transformation goes, it's very panely. That panely aspect was slightly frustrating with the Legend scale offering. I think it only gets extrapolated congruently with its size for the Masterpiece version. And then the alt mode it's really, really, really simple and really, really, really plain, and that may be your thing, but it's just not mine. That's a subjective criticism, but it is mine. Positives wise, the one thing I have to point out first and foremost is the articulation. There's tons of it in here. It works fantastically. There's a lot of like natural poses that just sort of spill out of the engineering in regard to the articulation. It just all works very naturally. Comes with a minimal but appropriate accessories. And what is painted clean. And I like the kind of chrome work or metal look on the smokestacks, grill, and fuel tanks. And that, it might even be a die-cast piece. I have no idea. My fingers are so calloused. The transformation does kind of work well, even in spite of all the panels. Like, it's still an enjoyable experience. It doesn't make you want to take a hammer to your hand in the same way that MP44 did. But I think as a result of MP44's kind of intricacies, you get a better, more solid structured unit. But we're trying to stay on the positives here. Look, I don't know, man. If I wanted a very G1 cartoon-styled Optimus Prime, this is not the one that I would go with out of the 3 available, which is the 44 transform element and then this one. I would probably put this one in 3rd place on that list. And what's ironic is aesthetically, I would put their first offering in 1st place between all 4. So take that for what you will. I think a lot of this character comes down to subjective preference, and only you can make that call. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.